Bore da, good morning, and yes, I'm back at the mental. Now mental, camera record, equals car. It's all quiet. Push record, so we'll see how long it'll take. But anyway, yes, I am back at the NWH, the North Hills Hospital, which we locals call the mental, affectionately. No disrespect to people with mental health, but it's just been known over the years, we just call it the mental. And it's a huge complex. The white building there is the nurses' home, and the main building's at the front there. And here comes the car. Works every time. But yeah, it's a huge complex, and it was known even by the people that work there as a village type of thing. It was all self-contained. It had not only doctors, nurses, specialists, porters. It also had builders, plumbers, cooks, tailors, gardeners, barbers, hairdressers, maintenance, printers, electricians, you name it, they had it. It was self-contained, literally it was its own little village. And a lot of the patients, I've talked about the patients, the ones that were locked in Bringolai, and some were locked in the wards. Some were allowed out into the airing courts, which was either side of the front buildings there. Some were allowed out in the grounds, and some were allowed out and they could go up into town. They could do as they want. But a lot of the patients, they had jobs. They were labourers. The women, they worked in hairdressers and stuff like that, and in the kitchens. And the men, they'd be working on the farm, which I will talk about in this video now. And the farm, I'll show you a bit later in the video, is further down that way. But they used to grow, it's the nurses' home, in the fields at the back there. They used to grow wheat and barley, and when they harvested it, they'd take it up to the mill in Henllen, which is a few miles up the road, and it would be converted into flour, and that would be brought down back into the stores, and it'd be used in the bakery to make bread and what have you. But as I say, it was self-contained, and I'll show you a bit later on now. I'll walk down the hill past the front entrance, and I'll show you where the farm was, where it used to supply meat, fowl, milk and eggs, all supplied to the hospital. As I say, it was all self-contained. It was literally like a little village. So yeah, so that's the main front buildings, but it's a huge complex. It goes way back that way, way all across here and across all these fields here. But like I said, he used to grow wheat and barley, and then he used to send it up to the mill in Henllen, and it used to come back as flour. So I'll head back down, and there's another car. I'll head back down and I'll show you Pennant Farm, or Pennant Buildings it's called now. But it wasn't originally called that. It was called Park y Twll. Park y Twll. P-A-R-C-Y, Park T-W-L-L, Park y Twll. And that's Welsh, and in English that means the whole park. It's a bit of a strange, isn't it? Park y Twll. The whole, as in H-O-L-E, the whole park. But as I say, it's called Pennant. Well, it was called Pennant Farm. And if I zoom in now, it's been converted and there's been new buildings and stuff, but that's where it was. There are some original buildings there, but that's where the farm was. And just at the bottom of the hill there, just around that corner there, is the main entrance, which was used in the days that the hospital was open. But that's where the farm was. So I walked down past the main entrance, or what was the main entrance, and here come the cars. As soon as you start filming, the cars appear. Yeah, but that's, as I say, it was purchased. So I'll talk a bit more about it when I get near it. But its original name was Park y Twll, which is the whole farm, H-O-L-E, whole park, sorry, talking about the farm, Park y Twll. Yeah, the whole Park, which is an unusual name, and then they changed it to Pennant Farm, and there is still a plaque there which you can see. It does state it's called Pennant, but it's like Pennant buildings now. It's been converted into flats and stuff. But as I say, you used to have the gardens, the patients used to have jobs. They used to work on the gardens, on the farm. The patients were labourers on the farm, and the farm itself had a slaughterman, / or whatever, butcher. He was a slaughterman and a butcher, so he used to supply all the meat. Obviously, fowl. They used to have hens, chickens, ducks, and what have you. And they used to obviously supply. They'd have cows. They have milk from the cows and eggs from the chickens and stuff like that. So it was all. They were literally, the hospital was self-contained, like a little village. But yeah, anyway, I'll pass past the front entrance, and then I'll show you where the farm was. So this is, or what was, the main entrance. There was only two entrances. There's one that passed the front of the nurse's home, and there was this entrance here. But this was the main entrance that was used regularly. Originally there were no gates here. The gates were added a bit later. But this is the main entrance. As you can see the front buildings there. So I'll just make my way further down this way, and I'll show you where the farm was. Actually, from here, from the gates there, if I zoom in a bit, you can see that's where the farm was, and that was one of the original buildings there. As I say, there have been some buildings added to it. It's been converted now many years back, but that's where the farm was. So they got fruit, veg and everything from the gardens, and they got the meat and the fowl and milk and eggs from the farm. And as I say, wheat and barley. They used to make their own flour, so they're making their own bread and stuff. So it was all self-contained. It was like a little village. Well, not so little really, but it was like a village in itself. The mental, but yeah. Anyway, that's the farm, or what was the farm, which was Pennant Farm. But like I say, originally it was Parker Tuff. So here we are. That was one of the original buildings. As I say, there's a lot of new buildings and stuff. That was one of the original buildings of what was then Parker Tuff. And it was purchased in 1910 for £3,770. They bought Parker Tuff and they changed the name to Pennant, and then they got going. They had dairymen, slaughterman, which was a butcher as well, and the patients used to be labourers on the farm. So they used to supply all the meat and the milk and eggs and stuff like that. And in 1955, there was quite a big fire, and it destroyed a lot of the buildings, and it never sort of got going again. And in 1958, it was put up for sale. And this is what remains of it today. These, that's not part of, that's all new stuff. But this here, that was one of the original farm buildings. But as I say, in 1955 there was a huge fire. I don't know exactly how that started or anything, but it destroyed a lot of the buildings. You can see it's only a stone's throw from the main entrance, and I'll show you the plaque now that remains today. As you can see there, it's got Pennant Farm and building, and a lot of the stuff is the writing stuff is gone, but you can make out there it's got Pennant Farm. They changed it when they purchased it as Parker Tuff. They changed the name, but this was where the farm was. As I say, it's all been converted now. That was the original, one of the original buildings, but the farm was way back that way. So yeah, so that's the Pennant Farm, or Parker Tuff / Pennant Farm, and the story of the mental, like a little self-contained village. So hope you enjoyed that, and if you're interested in, if you're new to my channel and you're interested, I've been documenting the mental now for 25 years, So I'm not going to stop anytime soon. I'll keep at it. So if you're interested, I know a lot of people are interested in the mental, and it's supposed to be, though, there are plans in place for it to become knocked down. They're keeping the front buildings, they're going to convert them into apartments. It's going to be about 300 houses and some business units and stuff, but it's just been sitting, just falling to bits now for quite a few years. So yeah, and like I say, I've been doing it now, documenting the place for 25 years, and I'll keep documenting it. I'm not going to stop anytime soon. So I hope you enjoyed this little video about the Mental and Pennant Farm, Parker Tull Farm and what have you. So hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again.